Anybody remember doing it now? No, you've done something? Not really. I don't think it's too bad. This one's a little bit different. How so? There's a 2 out front. Let's try it anyway. First set. Move the 5. Before I complete the square, there's one other thing you need to do. Factor out the 2. All right, when we've been completing the square, and when you always complete the square, your A value needs to be positive 1. It needs to be 1x squared. No, since the 5's on the other side, you don't need to take it out of the box. That's why we moved the 5 first before we factor it out. You could factor it out right away, but then you're going to get a fraction right. Complete the square. What goes in there? 4.
Teachers, for an interruption. Ramon, please report to the main office.
What do I add to the right side? It's not 4. Yeah, why is it 8? Good. I didn't add 4 to the left side. I realized I wrote in a plus 4, but I really added 2 times 4. I added 8 to the left side, right? Common mistake there. You should be adding 8 to this side over here. Everybody understand why? -5 and 8 and 3. Factor. What should I do next? Divide by 2 or square root? Divide by 2. You guys are right. A lot of people square root next. And now from there, it's just like a lot of the other stuff. We haven't talked about simplifying the square root of a fraction yet, unless they're both perfect squares. So you can just leave it as square root of 3 halves. That's fine. Add 2. Everybody still happy? Happy you're going to be. All right. We have not yet rewritten from standard form to vertex form. We've gone vertex to standard form, but we have not done this yet because we need to complete the square in order to do it. So let's try this one. I think there's one more that we're going to have to get kind of your own. That should pretty much be it. First of all, we are completing the square because I want it to be written as something squared and then plus or minus something at the end, right? So the first thing we need to do, just like other problems, the constant, move it over to the other side. Complete the square. So 49 on both sides of my equation. The left side simplifies to y plus 4. The right side should be x plus 7 squared. And then since I'm rewriting it in vertex form, I'm not solving for x. Vertex form y equals a times the quantity x minus a squared plus k, right? So you want to solve, you want to get y by itself, so subtract 4 from both sides. We could. I think the next one's out here. And this one, A was 1 up here, so it's 1 down here. Sometimes we'll have a factor. One more. Rewrite into vertex. You try this one. Move the 8 over. Factor out a -3. Be careful when you factor out the -3. That should change it to x squared minus 4x. 12 divided by -3 should be -4. Complete the square. If I put a +4 in the parentheses there, what do I need to do to the left side? Subtract 12, right? Because I didn't really add 4, I really did -3 times 4. I subtracted 12 from the right side, so I need to subtract 12 from the left side. The most common mistakes are we either forget to do this all together, or we just add 4 because I filled in a +4 there. And then add 4. We have all these different methods to solve quadratics, and we kind of talked a little bit about when to use the other one. When is this not a good method to use? When you have a calculator, although sometimes when you have a calculator, graphing does not work. Solving by graphing does not give us imaginary solutions, does it? It's not going to give you a 0 of 2 plus or minus 3i root 5. So sometimes even with a calculator, you can't solve by graphing. We'll talk through all that part in a little bit. It won't have any extra steps. Completing the square. When is it not going to be easy? When you can do it the other way, if you're right. Even if you can't do it the other way, when is it not going to be easy? Something about B. If it's odd, why if B is odd, is it not going to be easy? We're going to get fractions, right? You could do it, subtract 1. But then when you go to complete the square, 9 divided by 2 is 9/2 squared is 81 over 4. And I have to add 81 over 4 to this side. Now I'm getting fractions all the way, the rest of the way through the problem, including when you try to factor this side over here. All right. So if your B value is odd, it's not going to be very easy to do, right? And actually, even more specifically, if so I move the 1 over. Factor out the 2. Notice if B divided by A is odd, it's not going to be easy because you have to factor that A value out, right? So if B is odd, it can be done, but there's going to be a better method to doing it. Even if it's not factorable, even if it's not whatever, we can always use the quadratic formula with easy, right? Really, to be honest, completing the square, sometimes if A is 1 and B is even, it's pretty easy. If either of those are not the case, there's probably a better method. Completing the square is important, though, because what we do in Chapter 10 when we get there, you're going to need to know how to do this in order to do what we're doing in Chapter 10. So it's still a good lesson to take a look at. All right. Homework's right up there. 39, it says no need to CTS. What CTS stands for? Complete the square. No need to complete the square on that one.